This episode is brought to you by twolinedmusicutstore.com. Twolinedmusicutstore.com is your all-access to culture. Check out cultural merchandise like leggings, hats, mini boxing gloves, and bags. Also t-shirts like hip-hop, nature, rock bands, reggae, and dark fantasy. Fast shipping worldwide. That's twolinedmusicutstore.com. And now let's check out this episode. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Muscle, and this is another Two Line Music Cuts Entertainment Report podcast. And today, we have a really special guest in the building. Listen, this man has been in the business for a very long time, but he didn't get the break, but he's going to explain everything to us. And he has a new album called Perseverance, and it's going to tie everything right in. You know, we have in the building today, we have Mr. Joseph Velvet in the building today. What's going on, big boss?
I all of that thing. If I tell you, it won't stop right now.
Yeah.
But everything is good in me. I'm healthy and alive. Seeing that this thing is plaguing everybody and taking out some people, friend of mine, family, and all that. But it's a blessing to be here.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us here on the Entertainment Report podcast today.
I am very honored to be here. Thank you.
All right. On the Entertainment Report podcast, we like to go right from the beginning and then bring it right up to 2021. So my first question for you is this. Where did you grow up in Jamaica, and what type of child were you?
Well, I was born in a place called Cockburn Pen, Kingston 11. Mm-hmm. And child that I wasn't really a real bad child. Makes a little trouble, but I grew up in a very humble home, and my parents was very strict sometimes, and I managed to grow up and be a good person. I think I am a good person, coming out of that environment in Cockburn Pen, where it's a lot of bad vibes and criminals and all type of people. I mean,
got you 100%. So even growing up in the area musically, who do you remember seeing or hearing musically in the area at that time there?
I remember hearing Sons of Negus and the Tartans. I don't know if you have ever heard of those singers. Mm-hmm. Toots and the Maytals. I grew up hearing a lot of singers, and Dennis Brown. There's a lot of musicians who come out of Cockburn Pen, Mm-hmm. A lot of musicians. Trying to call the name right now, it's a lot.
I would guess that you were close to Daddy U-Roy was in the area also over on Kling Avenue there.
Oh, yes. That's Daddy U-Roy. I tell you, God rest his soul, man. That's a brother. He was one of the men who encouraged me. I did a concert in Cockburn Pen, mm-hmm. The first concert in Cockburn Pen, inside that ballroom. The ballroom right there at Clinton Avenue and Olympic Way.
Okay.
And after finishing that concert, he said to me, can you do a single for me? Or can you do a music for me? That was his words. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I said yes, but unfortunately, I was about 3 or 4 days after I was coming to America. I didn't tell him that, because you have to be tight-lipped when you get the chance to move out, in that era and that time. So I didn't tell him, but he wanted me to do a single for him, and unfortunately, that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. So even music, what was your attraction to music at that time there? Was it something you heard, somebody you seen doing it? What did you like about music back then that you even wanted to get involved?
Since I was a child, I love music. I would make my own instrument out of fishing line and board and them big herring, what you call it, herring casket or whatever they call it. But I would make my guitar out of that and play music. I made drum and everything like that since I was a child. I did school concert. I did community concert like the one that I've mentioned before. And, you know, you have people who like Mr. Harris, Mr. Rodney, and some other men in the era. They would pay me to sing when I was a child. So that's where I know I have some talent that, you know, could go on further with.
Got you. And who were some of the singers that you liked or you really liked to listen to or you looked up to at that time there?
Dennis Brown, Beres Hammond, Bob Marley, and on the American side, the Chi-Lites, Stylistics, many artists, many artists.
All right. So when you were in Jamaica, you didn't get to actually record in the studio before you came. Any music whatsoever?
No, I didn't.
Did you get to sing on any sound systems or do any other concerts or anything while you were down there?
Yeah, like I'd mentioned before, I did one concert in that same ball ground, right there, Olympic Way and Clinton Avenue. I was the one who put on that concert. I was the first person who put on a concert. You know, well, long time ago, like in the 60s and 50s, there were like politicians who put on shows with Miss Bennett, Louise Bennett and Ronnie Williams. But after a while, everything just dropped. And at one time, there was a political war in Jamaica, and the place was like, you know, war torn, I should say. And a lot of people ran away, and, you know, the place was just barren. And I was the first person who put on a concert, try to build back the community with Danny Bop. You have a guy they call Wrong Move, that is Paul Crosdale. He used to play for Luciana. And some other one like Danny. They played for Firehouse. Some other guys, we put on the concert. We were, you know, that was the first concert we did. But I used to do, like, before that, like, people were having their birthday and they would call me to sing. And I did one wedding also.
Okay.
You know, so I was really involved in music, but not in the recording. Because, you know, it was very hard for me as a child. And my parents wasn't really supportive in that field. They wanted me to be something else, you know. But I still managed to do music. I still, up to this time, get involved in music and stay involved.
Got you 100% there. All right. So then you said first it was that you wanted to take you to the studio. That didn't work out a couple of days after you were coming to the States. So what was it like coming to the States? Did you actually want to get back into music when you got here, or you just came to work or go to school or whatever the case was at that time there?
Yeah, definitely wanted was to get back into music, but that's the hardest thing, because nobody knows. You know, you have to come from Jamaica with a hit. You know, somebody have to know you before you're being recognized. But I still keep that in mind, that I want to do a musical. I want to have a musical career. It was about 2-3 years after I came here. One of my friends heard me singing, and he said, you know, you got a voice, so let's do something. So we make up our little money. We were working together. We were working at a place called Denwood's Mason Supplies in Brooklyn, New York. Okay. And we put our money together and go to the studio, a studio on Cartel Road. The owner of the studio is Light Cross. You might have heard about him. He and I did my first song in '87. That was a song called, it's a cover of Wildflower.
Yep.
And I did that song. It was distributed by VP.
How did you connect with VP, especially you not really having no connects, not really knowing anybody? How did you get connected with VP?
Well, when I came here, I come up with a song that I wrote, and I sent back money to my friend to produce it. And they produce it and send the 2-inch mix down reel that we use in those time. That was in the 80s, and I take it to Jalive. The Jalive record that is on Utica Avenue, I think. Yeah, Utica. And that's how I get to meet some people in the business, like Sister Carol, Ski and Success, many singers, many other singers. Sluggy Ranks, God rest his soul too. And I get to know quite a few people, so that's how I really get to give my song to VP. I just made a song and take it to what's his name again? Miss Pat's son. That's
Is that Chris?
Chris. Chris. I take it to Chris, and Chris said, "Okay, I'll distribute it for you." And that's how that happened. I mean, he didn't know me or anything like that, but I guess the way that I talked to him, and he might be laughing and say, "Oh, this man has come with something like this and expect me to distribute it." But he still took it and distributed it.
And what was that like? Did it get any traction, that song? How did it do for you?
Well, it gave me a little recognition, as a singer then, I get shows from it. And it was playing on the radio. I gained some popularity, but it didn't do much, because when the amount that we pressed and take it to VP and other places, it finished, and we couldn't make back anymore, so it did. And then there was the music, the people who play the music on the radio, they wanted a lot of money, like this one name, what's his name again? But anyway, he wanted to play the song. You have to give him $100 one time, and then I give him $200, and he played the music 2 times, and I asked him, can he play it again? He said, "No, you need to bring more money, come." So it was, and we were just working people, I used to drive a truck for Glenwood Mason Supplies, so we use the money that I get, like for tip and all that, to finance the music. So, and that wasn't enough, it wasn't enough.
From there, okay. So then now you have out this song and everything. So did you start to get into the sound system circuit, the stage show circuit, or more to try to get into more studios at this time here now?
Yeah, more studio. I didn't sing on any sound system. Where I used to sing is like in the basement. A lot of basement where I would meet Frankie Paul, Mr. Easy, Sam Shinehead, and many other artists, Sluggy and all that. But I didn't like singing on sound, and I didn't like hanging out at studio either. And that's where Sluggy invited me to come to the studio. There was a studio, what do you call it?
Dan One?
Dan One. Dan One studio. And we go down there, and when I look, everybody is just packed up there, and it wasn't my thing. So I didn't go back there. But if I had stayed, I would get some dub plate to make some dub plate. But I didn't like that.
That wasn't really your thing.
No, that was my thing.
You brought up a name.
Yes.
You brought up a name, Sluggy. What was Sluggy like as a person? Because you know he passed on already, so we usually like to hear about people that passed from people that knew them. What was he like as a person?
Sluggy was much younger than I am. Mm-hmm. So, you know, he was like a kid. His way was like a kid, more like a kid. But he was a screw face, you know, all the time. And people would think that he is really a bad person. But if you get to know him good, mm-hmm. he's not really bad. You just have to, you know, act that way because of the environment that he's in. But I think he's a very good, you know, at that time, he was a good person to me. And I don't know much about him, mm-hmm. more than this. Just like Tenor Saw. When I meet Tenor Saw was sick, you know. Tenor Saw was using, you know. Mm-hmm. And Tenor Saw was such a good youth. You ever heard of Percy Chin?
Sounds so familiar.
Yeah, Percy Chin wanted me and Tenor Saw to do a song together.
Okay.
And when Tenor Saw get the money, he missing for like 4 or 5 days, you know, and the studio was booked and everything, so we didn't see him again. But I reasoned with him a lot and understand what he was going through, you know, and that was in his last days, you know, the last days of his life, and I really feel sorry for him, and I liked him, you know, just like Sluggy. They always gravitate to me, you know, because I was the working one, and you know, the one that maybe have a more seniority, you know. So they always look up to me or respected me.
That's big right there, especially the fact that you were supposed to record with Tenor Saw and it didn't happen. This is why I like to have these conversations, because there's so many supposed to, what ifs, almost did, that never happened, that people don't get to hear these stories.
Yeah. Just like when after I came out with Wildflower, mm-hmm. and getting some traction, this guy Barry Biggs, mm-hmm. and Jeffrey Chang, they take me to Manhattan, mm-hmm. to do a song that I think Jeffrey wrote the song, and another singer sing it, and he wanted to do it over. At that time, he had just produced an album with Maxi Priest. I don't remember. I just wanna be close to you.
Mm-hmm.
That album,
his big album there. Yep.
Yes, and he wanted the album with me. I don't know for what reason, but he wanted the album. And when we go to the studio, mm-hmm. the engineer couldn't get the thing up and running, and you know, it was a big blow to me and to him, because he wanted was to do. But he went to Jamaica. Mm-hmm. When I take him to the airport, he said to me, just be exclusive. He's a good artist. Just be exclusive. And I know what exclusive is. And I follow him from there. But he didn't come back to he died in Jamaica. Mm. So, you know, that was another blow for me.
It's like, oh my goodness! It's like first the Tenor Saw, now with the producer, and this is still very early in your career. It's like you have out the one song.
Yes. Yeah, I only had one song, mm-hmm. and it was really a big blow for me. I thought about giving up, because I'm saying so many hit and miss, mm-hmm. you know, and I don't think this was for me. But there's something that does keep pushing me, you know. Go ahead and do music. That's what this thing is telling me, and I just continue. I persevere, mm-hmm. like the album says, perseverance.
You understand. So, okay, you have Wildflower. It's bubbling. It's doing its thing. What was your next move in the music business now after that?
After that, I came to Philadelphia. That's where I am right now. Mm-hmm. And that's about 20 years ago. I did 2 songs, and they were distributed by a company called Star Something from Tennessee, and Nashville, Tennessee. And just as I put that album out, those 2 songs out, I had an accident, a motor vehicle accident, and that licked me out of the business for a very, very long time. My spine was injured. I could hardly walk or do anything, and I was very, very, very depressed, And then after that, I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this keep me down. And my son, Jojo Singer, his name is Jojo Singer. He's a singer also. He keep on motivating me. Daddy, you got to go back and do what you love, because that is something that you started and you have been doing it, and you can't let. But he didn't know what I'm feeling, because I like to perform, and with the pain and all that, performance was very much out of it. I tried. I tried some little gigs, but the pain is still there. And, it took me a very long, long, long time to get back into it. Well, when I come back, my first song that I come back with was a song called Fun Night. Fun Night. I come back with Fun Night, and produced by Beres France. And that one was kind of a bring me back in the mix, And after that, I did another song, Mean It. Mean It was also a popular one, that kind of bring me back with also a video. And from there, I start doing little shows and gigs all over the place. And my last gig that I did was a frontline act for Beres Hammond and South Street, a place called TLA. It wasn't a good performance to me, because I was still having problem and the promoter and thing, we were having a lot of problems. But people come up to me and say it's good. Yeah, it's good. They will say that, patronize you and things like that. But to me, I didn't think that was a good performance.
And this is when you're getting to perform with somebody like Beres Hammond, somebody that you look up to as a singer also.
Yes. But before I came to Philadelphia, I performed with that guy, what's his name? Mikey Jarrett. His name is Mikey
Jarrett. Yes, Mikey Jarrett.
I did show with Mikey Jarrett. I did show with Shaggy. At the time, Shaggy wasn't even Shaggy yet. I did show with Gregory Isaac.
Okay, hold on there. What was it like now performing with somebody like Gregory Isaac, somebody that you looked up to, singing on records? You've probably seen them at shows. Now you and them are in the same place performing on the same show. What was that like?
It was like a dream come true. I really, I didn't know that would really happen, but, it happened. And he wasn't really a guy that talk a lot or anything like that. He just sit there by himself. I don't know. But after the show, he opened up and started talking. But while we were there in the room, in the back room, and he wasn't saying much, you know. But I heard when I started singing, he come out and said, how that, you know. He was inquiring about who was I.
Mm-hmm.
But I was opening up for him. We had about three other guys was opening up, was the opening act. But Gregory Isaac, after the show, he you know, he's a character.
Mm-hmm.
He's a man that will make you laugh,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and very funny too. I liked him. Another one with Freddie McGregor. That was the same one that I was with Mikey Jarrett.
Yeah.
That show, some problem was going on with that also. We started out singing, and then, you know, but all the main act didn't do anything because they didn't get no money. Mikey Jarrett was about to fight also,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because no money wasn't there for him. But I was ready because I didn't care about money, because money, to me, that wasn't it. I just want to perform.
Mm-hmm.
I just want people to see me. And that you know, coming back, that is back in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But in Philadelphia now, I did with the one that I just mentioned with Beres Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on South Street, I did many more with different artists. One with Shaggy also, you know. I don't remember the name of that place,
Mm-hmm.
but I did quite a few performances. And about 3 weeks ago, I did a show with some guys like Moses Livingston and, you know, other guys. You know, it was people that I know, and they put on something, and we did that in a mall.
Okay.
You know, it was just something to do.
A vibe there. Question. I want to go back a bit and then go forward. How come you moved from New York to Philadelphia? Because at this time here now, when you got to the States, New York was almost like the epicenter for reggae and dancehall and those stuff here when it came to inside of the States. I'm not sure what the vibe was like in Philadelphia for reggae and dancehall, but I know New York was definitely the spot. So how come you moved to Philly at that time there?
It was a personal problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with me and my family, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't about the musical thing. It was just a personal thing that I had to come to Philadelphia because of family reason that I just can't explain right at this point.
For sure. I get that, because I was saying if it was musically, you'd know that that's where everybody is. You understand? But again, you live two lives. You live musical and you live family. So then clearly you had to do what you had to do to continue moving forward.
Right.
You know what I mean? All right. So you're doing your thing. You got your performances. You got into the accident. Now, how long after your accident did you decide to try to get back into the ring again?
About 15 years after.
So long.
Yeah, because like I said, I like to perform.
Mm-hmm.
And my back wasn't giving me that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I was down and feeling pain, you know, so it took me that long to really get back.
Mm-hmm.
But after getting back, you know, I did a lot of exercise and therapy, and it bring me to a level, not quite how I would really want it to be. And then I'm not that young, you know. so you know, it takes a little while it's gonna be a hard thing for me to really get back to where I was. And I don't think I'll be able to get back to there again. But I can do a bit, you know. I did shows and people come up to me and said, "How old are you?"
Mm-hmm.
And told them my age. They're like, "What? And you're so fit and strong and all that."
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is one of the things that I love about my musical career.
Mm-hmm.
Is my performance. I like to dance and perform for my audience, and you know, with that back problem. It was like a problem, but I am getting there.
Yeah. And you're making it work. Definitely, for sure. You even brought up something, age, because I was reading somewhere where you said, okay, when you made up your mind to really come back, this is 15 years later, you're a little older now. Do you find that with age that you think people won't want to listen to you, or what do you find is it with age and the music business?
Yeah, people tend to not showing you that respect because they're saying that you're trying to do something that is young people thing, and they wouldn't know that I started out doing it. So I have to explain to them and tell them that I was in the business a long time ago, and Ray, and but that was a big turn off for people, I think, and I still think it is because like for example, a record company wouldn't want to sign a contract with me unless I have big music and things is going big for me. But I don't think a record company executive would really want to sign me at this age because I'm in my 60s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm not young. I'm 64. So, I wouldn't think that. And a lot of people, they like, I don't know. I don't think they like to see an old man singing.
But you see what it seems like? You just have this thing in your mind, your heart, your spirit, and your soul that's telling you, say, listen, put out the music. We'll figure it out after the fact, but you just need to get it out of your soul.
Right. And that's what exactly happened. Because after doing so many songs and doing, shows and gigs all over the place, and I'm not getting the recognition that I think I deserved. I said to myself, something, maybe if I do an album, I would get more recognition. And that's how the album Perseverance come to light.
Let me tell you, I listened to the album, and this is one thing I cannot lie about. The production value, the production quality, your voice and everything surprised the hell out of me. I cannot sit here and lie to you. I said, okay, I see. The production, proper. Vocals, proper. 10 songs, proper.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. I've heard that a lot, but I hope that people would listen to the album and make the same conclusion as you, that it's because it's a good album. It's really some good songs on it also, and I'm open to get a good feedback from that.
And you wrote all these songs, or some are covers, or what's the deal with the songs?
I wrote all the songs. I wrote and helping productions and all that. But the producer is Beres Hammond, and he's a good producer. You hear the quality of the song, right?
Yeah.
So it's a well produced song. I mean, everybody that interview me. And I talk with who listen to, because I have some CDs out also, as promotion I gave to people and all of that. All the time, it thing clean. It's clean. That's what I'm hearing. It's clean.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? So I hope that it will take some sort of a space in the music business. That's what I'm hoping for.
Definitely. Let's talk about the lead single here. Do what I gotta do. How did you come up with that one there?
I'm hearing people singing all type of love songs about climb the ice mountain and swim the most sea, the deepest sea and all kind of thing. You know, I didn't want to go back there because that's kind of out of it. Now, oh, I have a wife and I love her. I like what she's doing. She does for me. You know, when I'm down and out and all that, she's always there for me. And I just thought that I should make something for her. I don't know how those lyrics come about, but it does come out. Got to do what I got to do to impress her or to show her that I love her. So I'll fight Bolt. I mean Tyson, run left Bolt, be a superstar, and all of that. The hardest thing that you can think of, I'll do for her. You know, that's how that song come about.
Definitely. And even talking about that lyrical,
yes,
and even vocals, the singing style, it does not sound dated. It doesn't sound like you were in the 80s and this is 2021 and you're trying to put out some new music, but you're still thinking that it's 1987. You sound like we know you're a big man. You're keeping your age. You're not trying to sound like a child, but you definitely have updated your vocals and how it sounds and words and everything. The style of singing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I didn't know that it was that impressive. But it's when I listen to the whole album, I could pick other songs to really push and promote because I have some good songs on it, like this one, Mean It. Mean It. I could really use that as the song for the album. But Do What I Gotta Do. The lyrical content is different. I'm not hearing anything like that. So I said, look, this should be the lead song on the album. Do What I Gotta Do. And I don't know how other people think, but that is the one I really put in more effort into. I want to do a video of it, and I am working on the what you call the script to do a video sometime next year, early next year, because the lyrical content is different, and I think people will like a video from that one. What do you think?
For sure, especially being in the social media, the visual era. If you're going to put out music and you say, okay, I'm putting out music now in 2021, you still got to follow the rules. So you need the visuals. And to bring that song to life, we'd definitely love to see how you brought that song to life visually.
Yeah, I might use a younger actor. Because I'm still worried about my age, if it will be taken,
Yeah, but so at the end of the day, you have to remember something with music. Music doesn't really have any age. It doesn't have any limit. It doesn't have any language. It's just once you put it out, there must be somebody, even if it's one other person, it's your next door neighbor or somebody. Somebody has to like this music, but it's your job to find your audience. Where do I find this audience that's looking for what I'm presenting? That's now your job because they're out there,
Right. Right. And I think that these interviews and all that will help me to identify that, because I haven't really identified an audience for my style of singing and the music that I put out. And it's reggae, yes, and authentic reggae. But is anybody want to listen to that type of I'll have to find that set of people who will like that style and that music.
They're out there. If somebody's going to listen to Glenn Washington, if somebody's going to listen to Beres Hammond, if somebody's going to listen to George Nooks, you're definitely going to listen to Joseph Velvet. You understand?
Thank you. So I'll have to market it in that in that genre.
For sure.
But it's reggae genre. But with those artists, market to their fans.
For sure. You know what I mean? Because you have to remember, when you're not singing music, you might listen to music. You know what you like to listen to. There must be another 100,000, 10,000, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100,000 people like you that like to listen to what you're listening to also.
Right.
You understand?
Thank you.
Good to go. How long did it take you guys to actually work on this project here?
It's about 6 months.
Okay.
Because I had most of the song that not most, some of the song on the album is songs that I already put out. Mm-hmm. Was out there, but they didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So I just use them. They're already produced, but in terms of mastering and all that, that's a different thing. So I'll have to. I was to do that over with some of those songs that I already did. Mm-hmm. But the new ones, it took me about 6 months, or around about 6 months.
Good to go. And where could they pick up the album right now? Where's it available?
They're on all. It is on all digital distribution site: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, all of them. Apple, all of them.
Right across the board. And what I really respect about what you're doing too, you have a PR person, because that's how we're sitting down here right now. Your PR people reached out to me and said, hey, let's do this, because we do work before. This is Flair Lindsay from Acclaim PR.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
She's definitely professional. And when she presented me your package and I looked at it, I said, okay, your digital distribution, here's snippets of your songs, you're buying everything. I said, okay, you're in the right place.
Yeah, in the right hands. I mean, Flair Lindsay she's great. Mm-hmm. She's a very, very, very talented and humble, individual. Mm-hmm. And I it's a pleasure working with her. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. One last question before I get you out of here. Your name, Joseph Velvet. How did you come up with that name, and how did you get that name?
I didn't come up with it. I had a lot of managers throughout the time that I've been doing the music. Mm-hmm. And this one lady, she's the one who gave me the name, and I just run with it because I like it. And she is, I don't want to mention her name because there's so much other managers, but she's the one who gave me that name, and I like it,
Mm-hmm. And what was your performing name before you had Joseph Velvet?
Joseph Velvet come in like in the 80s when I first did my the Wildflower. Mm-hmm. That came when I used to perform in Jamaica. It was just like Wilzer. Mm-hmm. That's what they call me, Wilzer. Mm-hmm. And Joseph, not Joseph Jones. And it was no official thing because, in Jamaica, I didn't even have a song out. Mm-hmm. So, that's how the name come by. This lady did some management for me. And I had many managers, trust me. Mm-hmm. Some are damagers. Mm-hmm. And some, they try, mm-hmm. but they don't know the thing much. But I still give them thanks for helping me.
For sure.
And I just want to say big up to Flair Lindsay and thank her for all that she's doing for me. Mm-hmm. And my producer, Beres Hammond, my wife, Ruth, and my daughter, Jenny's, and my little granddaughter, and that's the youngest one, Amaya. And all my friends and fans, just want to say love you and thanks for believing in me through this journey and beyond, hopefully.
Nice, like that. Are you on social media, Facebook or anything? Instagram, if they want to check you out or anything?
Yeah, Instagram, Joseph.velvet. That's on Instagram. And Joseph Jones on Facebook, and Joseph Velvet also on Facebook.
Good, like that. One last question for you. What's the reggae scene like in Philadelphia compared back then to right now?
Reggae scene, since the pandemic, it has, toned down a bit. Mm-hmm. But the reggae scene is good in Philadelphia, I can tell you that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good. There's a lot of shows going on, and dance and all that is going on, but not quite as much as it used to before the pandemic. Philadelphia is good. I mean, you don't miss much. Mm-hmm. I don't miss much leaving New York, because, and I just want to big up the DJs, all the Philadelphia DJs and New York DJs and all the DJs who played my song. Enough respect, quite a bit.
Definitely. Mr. Velvet, thank you so much for sitting down with us. This was a great conversation to see your journey, to see your perseverance, because that's the name of the album, to where you are today. You understand?
Thanks for having me, brother. And it's an honor. Enough respect.
No problem.
Muscle. That's a big name right there, Muscle. I wish that's what I should call myself, Joseph Muscle.
I have it copyright, so you might have to talk to my team. They can talk to your team, and we can take care of it from there.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Velvet, let me give your outro and get you out of here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is Muscle, and this has been another Two Line Music Hut's Entertainment Report podcast, and we are out. This podcast is brought to you by www.twolinemusichut.com.